I want to say good afternoon and good evening to all of the participants who are hearing me. I am also paying my respects to all of the citizens and all of the courageous soldiers of Ukraine who are fighting against the military aggression of Putin on their country. I am sure that the free people of the world who believe in democracy are on your side. They encourage you and they listen to the news of this war very carefully every day. For example, the Pope has said that just providing military weapons for Ukraine is acceptable by the Catholic Church. This means that even the Catholic people have to help the people of Ukraine. This is very important. Also, we can see that the United Nations has decided, and also the International Criminal Court has started investigation of violence and also whatever the Russian soldiers are doing as a violation of human rights standards. These all mean that all of the people of the world are not indifferent when it comes to the destiny of Ukraine. And from right here, I want to pay tribute to all of the people who are defending Mariupol. We all know that they're under very difficult conditions. We know that they cannot have water, food as they need, but then they're courageously defending their country and their city. And I want to pay my tribute to the people of Ukraine who are fighting against the suppression of Putin. Putin, in reality, is against democracy. He wants to bring all of the countries that are in his neighborhood under his supervision. Although they may be independent superficially, but he wants them to listen to Moscow. We have seen this in Kazakhstan. The people of Kazakhstan were really tired from dictatorship, from corruption, and they took to the streets. They all united, and they stood against their government, and they won. And they even controlled the parliament, and they went to the president's office. And the government fell. People wanted, through free elections, elect their presidents so that they could govern their country. But unfortunately, all of a sudden, Putin sent his soldiers and called them Peace Corps and sent them there in order to suppress the people of Kazakhstan. Many people were killed on the streets and 7,000 people were arrested. And the previous government took over again. And people lost. Putin is not going to accept that a country become independent. Another example of it, look at Belarus. When people during the elections decided to elect someone else, Putin did not accept that and supported the government that listened to him. And he made people accept that. Putin wants the same thing or wanted the same thing for Ukraine. He didn't like Ukraine elect their own president. They elected the one they wanted. He couldn't tolerate that. He couldn't tolerate the real independence of Ukraine. And therefore, when he found out that in a free elections, the people of Ukraine had elected Zelensky, and Zelensky and the parliament did not listen to his orders, he first decided to kill Zelensky and his family. But when he didn't achieve his purpose, then he attacked Ukraine. He had this mistaken mentality that Ukraine would fall within a week and people are going to welcome the Russian soldiers and bring flowers to them, and Zelensky would flee. At the beginning of the attack of Putin, the US told Zelensky that him and his family could go to the United States. And you can have your government in exile. But we are all happy, all of the people of the world, that Zelensky did not accept that. He said that him and his family are going to stay by the people of Ukraine and we will fight. This is my country. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to flee my country. I'm not going to let go of it. And the people who had elected Zelensky, like him, stood their ground in order to defend their country. In reality, the people of Ukraine are defending democracy because Putin is against democracy. He doesn't believe in it. He doesn't believe that the people of a country can elect their government and control their government. Look at Finland. Finland had decided to join NATO. But Putin says you don't have the right to do that. That if you join NATO, we're against it, and you will see the consequences. What does that mean? This means that the people of that country do not have the right to decide which country they want to be friends with or unite with, or not unite with a certain country. This means that Putin does not understand what democracy means, and he doesn't want democracy. You know that I'm Iranian. And as an Iranian, I'm very sorry. And I want to apologize to the people of Ukraine that the government of Iran is siding with Putin. And they listen to him 100%. As the same as Nazarbayev, who listens to Putin in Kazakhstan. Khamenei and his government, they listen to Putin. They listen to all of his orders. Putin has also looted all of the resources in our country. And the people of Iran do not accept the government of Iran. The people of Iran are in opposition. They are opposed to the policies of the Islamic Republic. Many of my colleagues, or all of them, are in prison now. I myself, because of opposition to the government, was apprehended and arrested. And since 2009, I've been living in exile. And from exile, I want to bring the voice of the people of Iran to all of the people of the world, including you people of Ukraine. And I want to say that the people of Iran are side with the people of Ukraine. The people of Iran do not approve their government's method in supporting Putin. And at the beginning of the war, people demonstrated in favor of the people of Ukraine and against the war. They went to the office of the United Nations in Tehran and they held this rally. And they had the flag of Ukraine with them. And what they were saying was to put an end to this war and the soldiers go back to their countries. They supported the people of Ukraine. But you know what happened? On the orders of the government of Iran, the police attacked them. They beat them up. And they arrested some of them and put them in prison. Why? Because Putin does not like democracy or a voice against any of his policies anywhere in the world. Even the ambassador of Russia in Tehran called the media and told them, do not use the word war when it comes to Ukraine. Just say it was military operations in that country. And the government of Iran sent out memorandums to all of the media to listen to the ambassador and do not use the word war or aggression. Just see, when I say that Putin is against democracy, this is what I mean. Even their ambassador permits himself to tell the media and the journalists in a different country, tell them what to do and how to write. And this is me, like President Zelensky, believe. This is a war that's not only against Ukraine, it is a war against democracy. And if he can win this war in Ukraine, which he never will, but if he, assuming arguendo that if he wins the Ukrainian war, then he will think of other countries which are located in Eastern Europe. The danger is serious for Moldova, for Poland, and other countries in that area. This is why that Zelensky says that he's fighting for the freedom of Europe, and Europe has to help us because they're indebted to us, and that's correct. They have helped a bit. They have sent training, resources, and weapons, and they accept refugees. But I don't think that's enough. They have to do more. Europe and the world, they have to do more for democracy. If we don't stop Putin, he's like a second Hitler. And it may result in the Third World War. So this fire has to be brought down, and it can only be contained if the Russian soldiers go back to their own country and put an end to aggression, and also pay all of the damages of the war. Of course, Russia pay all the damages that it has created. It's not only leaving the country. So I know that you may have questions and you may want me to respond to them. Therefore, I will suffice to what I'm saying so that there will be time to respond to your questions. But I want to tell you that you are not alone in this war. All of the people of the world are by your side. Me and some other Nobel laureates, peace Nobel laureates, we may go We may go to refugee camps in the month of June. We will go to Poland. We will go to other countries and look at different camps and visit them. And we will prepare reports. And we will bring it to the people of the world. Up to now, approximately 6 million Ukrainians have left their country, have fled. A number of children have been killed. We have had reports that soldiers have raped young girls. So the Nobel laureates will go along with other defenders of human rights to prepare reports. What has happened? The world has to stop this. If we don't stop it, they are going to continue to do what they're doing. If the people of the world had reacted to the situation that happened in Kazakhstan and would not let the government that is ruled actually by Putin take over, I'm sure that he wouldn't attack Ukraine. There, the whole world was silent, and this happened to Ukraine. So if we don't help right now, I'm sure that other countries will be attacked as well. So we are on your side, and we pray for your victory, because your victory is the victory of peace. Victory of Ukraine is the victory of freedom and democracy. So we pray for freedom and democracy. Now I can take your questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We have several questions. First of all, the first question is from Daria. Do you think there is a way to defeat Putin or overthrow him from the presidency?
Can you repeat that, please? It wasn't very, yeah.
Okay, maybe I will message it to you in direct question, but do you think there is a way to defeat Putin and overthrow him from the presidency?
این مسئله بستگی داره به مردم روسیه.
This all depends on the people of Russia. We know that the people of Russia do not all support Putin. And there is an opposition in Russia against Putin. Therefore, I hope that the people of Russia themselves bring Putin down and don't let someone like him rule a country like Russia, which has a great civilization.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question is, what influence does this war have on the system of international law and international organization?
International organizations have to work on the basis of their structure, and what they could do for Ukraine was limited. because they were not as successful as one would expect them to be. For example, I want to talk about the Security Council of the United Nations. When the issue of the attack of Russia against Ukraine was brought up and they were gonna issue a decision, Russia, who is the attacker, he has a right to veto and they use their veto right. Is this correct? The country that is actually violated and attacked another country and started a war have the right to veto. So this shows to us that the structure of the United Nations has to be amended. Let's not forget, at the time that the United Nations was coming into force and the charter was written, at that time it was the USSR, which was a collection of different countries. And Ukraine was part of it. And so the population under the flag of the USSR was huge. So in the charters of the United Nations, the name USSR has been named as a member of the Security Council. However, when the USSR collapsed, numerous countries gained their independence, and each of them requested to become a member of the United Nations, like Azerbaijan, like Kazakhstan, like Tajikistan, like Ukraine. And all of the independence of all of them were recognized. And so the USSR did not exist anymore. Therefore, it is easy to fire Russia from the Security Council because Russia is one country, like Ukraine, like Azerbaijan. So why would Russia replace the country of USSR? The conditions have changed. Therefore, the Charter of the United Nations has to be amended too.
Okay, the next question is, do you think the situation will change if Putin leaves and is replaced by another official?
ببینید اگر پوتین کنار بره بستگی داره به اینکه
If Putin leaves, it depends on who will replace him. Let's not forget that when Putin took power, after 2 periods of presidency, since he could not be elected for the 3rd time, his vice became the president, who actually listened to him. And then again, Putin was elected. The fact that Putin leaves, does that make any difference or not? It depends on the person who takes over and replaces Putin.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, do you think organizations such as United Nations are outdated or need to create new ones?
ببینید من در مورد این سوال
in response to this question, I actually responded to you previously. The UN, if it collapses, the situation is going to get worse. Therefore, we want amendment of its structure. One of the reasons that we want the structure to be changed, to be amended, is the Security Council. We think that the Security Council has to be amended. I mean, the structure of it. And I just want to repeat that there is no name of Russia in the Charter of the United Nations. That was the USSR, which consisted of many countries. Now, suddenly, Russia wants all the rights of the collection of all of the countries who were there. This is not correct. So this has to be amended. It has to be changed.
Okay, the next question is whether it exists democratic action for Ukrainian authority and nation as to achieve take out our militaries from Mariupol. You have to know this awful situation at Azov steel plant.
بایستی هرچه بیشتر به مردم
We have to help the people of Mariupol, those who are still there, and the soldiers who are fighting there. We have to help them. As I said, even Vatican has accepted that the church, the Catholic Church, supports sending weapons because a number of people are stuck in their city, and all the city of Mariupol is being occupied by the soldiers, foreign soldiers, but there's still people of Mariupol are still fighting. And so the world has to help them out so they can succeed. So they can throw out the Russian soldiers.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, do you think there is a threat of a nuclear attack by Putin?
امیدوارم پوتین اونقدر عاقل باشه.
I hope that Putin is wise enough to know that atomic or nuclear weapons are not to be accepted. Okay, now bego.
Okay, the next question is, there is a chance for Ukraine to join NATO after war, or do we need to find some new alliance or create some new alliance?
این تصمیمی است که مردم اوکراین
This is a decision that the people of Ukraine have to determine. and no one else has the right to say anything. It's only the Ukrainians and the Ukrainian people who have the right to join. They have to decide whether it's expedient for their country, whether it's correct for their country to join.
Okay, the next question is, how do you feel about the fact that the Red Cross doesn't work in the war zone in Ukraine and even opens offices in Russia?
من این متاسفم اگر
I'm sorry if this is the case. The Red Cross has to be in an area where it can help the people. The people of Russia have not been injured. Nothing has happened to them. It's the people of Ukraine who have been bombed every day and night. And as a result of a war, an attack on them, they have been injured, they have been killed, they have had to flee their country. We have to help these kind of people, not people who have not suffered anything and are living a healthy life.
Okay, the next question is, you said that Russia will pay for this war, for these consequences and all crimes Russian soldiers did. What is the possible mechanism of it in our modern financial system and modern international system?
اگر روسیه سقوط بکنه متوجه نشدم روسیه کجاست، یعنی این چه ارتباطی به چی؟ بله بله حتما حتما.
Yeah, I think that certainly the investigation that has been started will bring justice, and justice will be applied.
Okay, the next question is it true that Geneva Convention doesn't work when an aggressor country has not declared war on another country?
درسته که اعلان جنگ رسمی نشده.
It is true that war has not been declared formally, but what has happened is a real war. And the whole world knows that this is a war. And all of the laws pertaining to military aggression have to be applied. This is an aggression on the country of Ukraine. And all of what happened during this time are all war crimes, and the investigation goes on in this regard.
Thank you. The next question is, how do you think, who is the reason of this war? Putin itself or Russian system that he built?
ببینید روسیه هم مثل کشور یه حکومت غیر دموکراتیک داره.
See, Russia has a non-democratic government. In non-democratic governments, the person who is the head of the government will only select people who think like them and take his side, and does not agree to work with people who are against him. Therefore, at this time, we have to rest assured that the military and the people who are at the head of the government all think like Putin. And Putin would not have selected them if that were not the case, because Putin does not believe in democracy. The only thing that he wants is one thing: for people to listen to him.
Okay, and the next question is, there are many people in the world, in Asia or Latin countries, who are not familiar with this war deeply, and they do not understand the reason of this war. So how Ukrainians, like ordinary people, can spread the true information and change the mind of foreigners about this war?
You are right. In countries that are on the side of Putin, like the Islamic Republic of Iran, like the Syrian government driven by Bashar Assad, like Belarus, like many other countries, they don't get the news of the war. They don't have the right to reflect it to their people because there's censorship in these countries. But let's not forget that we do live at a time where the internet exists and virtual reality. Look at Twitter, Telegram, WhatsApp. Many people use them more than the televisions and radios of other countries. And they can bring all the news to the people. For example, as I told you, in Iran, on the basis of the ambassador of Russia, the news of the war are not conveyed to the people. They won't broadcast it. They won't tell them what goes on, even in the country of Iran, let alone Russia. However, the people of Iran know very well through the internet and all the virtual realities applications that exist. We know what's going on in the world. And this is why the people of Iran held a rally and took the side of the people of Ukraine, and the police attacked them, as I told you before. So, although the dictators who are like Putin himself or side with him will not let the information about the war be broadcasted But then there are apps, applications, and the social media, and people know exactly what's going on.
Okay, unfortunately, we have not so much time as we want, so I will ask two last questions. Many people say that sanctions do not work properly, or they work very slowly because Russia still sells oil, gas, and can buy various products and luxury one product around the world. So how can you comment this situation? In your opinion, do sanctions work?
مسلماً تحریم ها به اقتصاد روسیه
I am certain that the sanctions are gonna hurt the economy of Russia. But it's not like in a few months, Russia is gonna collapse. No, that's not gonna happen. But you can rest assured that the sanctions have hurt Russia economically.
Okay, we hope so. So, and the last question is, many people are waiting for the collapse of Russia and Putin. So what's the future of Russia, do you see? Will it break into several countries, or will there some revolution or civil war? What's the future of Russia, in your opinion?
من فکر نمی کنم
I don't think that there will be a civil war or collapse in Russia, because if Putin falls, two things may happen. Either the people of Russia will succeed to elect a democratic government, and democracy will go back to Russia. Or unfortunately, it could be that someone else like Putin, who thinks like him, takes over. Look at the history of Russia. When the USSR existed, people were very unhappy. And the most dissatisfaction was with the KGB, which was a security organization in the USSR. And all of the people who fought for freedom and the writers and journalists were apprehended by the KGB. So the people rose and they won. The USSR collapsed. But what happened? A number of years later, Putin, who was one of the KGB members, took power again. It's really drama. It's a tragedy for people to rise against the security organization of their country and win, and then someone from the same organization takes over and does the same thing. Putin, I'm sure everyone knows, before the collapse of the USSR, who worked for the KGB in Eastern Germany. And when the wall in Eastern Germany came down and people were free, they were gonna arrest Putin, and they attacked the office that he headed, but he fled and he took power by tricking people. And now he's doing again the same thing. His policies are like the KGB policies. Therefore, when one wants to talk about the destiny of countries, it depends on the people, whether they can bring democracy and take care of the democracy that comes to their country. I always say that democracy is like a flower in a pot. When you have a flower in a pot, you have to water it every day. You have to put it in the correct light so it stays the way it is. You can't ignore this flower and leave it for a while and just pour a bucket of water on it and forget about it. That pot is going to die. That flower is going to die. So at the beginning of the collapse of the USSR, the people of Russia were free, but they didn't pay attention. They did not take care of their democracy. And this is what happened. And so the democracy died like the flower in the pot, and someone like Putin took over.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, for your presentation.
خیلی متشکرم
برای وقت شما. I hope we will meet you in safe and free independent Kyiv. Thank you very much again. Шановні учасники, всім дякую за ваші питання, за те, що доєднались до нашої сьогоднішньої лекції. Посилання на наступні лекції ви можете знайти на нашому сайті.
من در کمتر از یک ماه دیگه
in a month or so, I am going to visit the refugee camps in Poland, in other countries, and we will never forget you. You can rest assured.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day and see you probably in the future. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
خداحافظ شیرین جان.